Welcome to Subject to Change, a sustainability podcast.
Hi, I'm Jody Smits-Anderson. I'm really excited to be a co-host for Subject to Change. I'm fascinated by what nature can teach us. My hero, of course, I didn't prepare this in advance, but I will say right now that I'm looking for kindness in the world, so I would say that Mr. Rogers is my hero right now. And Keita wanted me to say Keita, but I'm not going to say Keita. I'll say that later.
Today we're talking about education.
I'm Lauren Stanek. I too am a co-host on Subject to Change Sustainability and also an interior designer that I like to think specializes in sustainable approaches for human and environmental health and well-being. And my hero right now, gosh, Jody, that was a super good one. And outside the box thinking, I'm going to say that my hero right now is, this is going to be a rare one for me. I'm going to say the two Republicans sitting on the January 6th commission who are apparently two of the only people in the world left that can tell the truth.
Exceptional. All right, who wants to go next?
Welcome to sarilomberg.
I'll go.
All right, good.
My name is Sarilomberg, and yeah, thank you all for having me. And I'll be a teacher. I'm going to teachers college in the fall to get my earth science teaching degree. And my hero is the late Dr. Lloyd Hamilton. He was a doctor in my town. He was retired in his mid-90s, and he ran a free clinic, and he helped so many people in my neighborhood. You know, he was retired, and he was so passionate about his work, and he came in every single day helping people in the community. So I just admire his passion and his hard work and his sense of humor through everything.
Joining us also is Keita Murray.
Keita Murray. I'm a 11th grade history teacher in Amsterdam, New York. I've been teaching history for 20-something years now. Math's not my strong suit. And since as of March 22nd, I am a kidney transplant recipient. So it's kind of nice to not feel terrible all the time. And my two, because I can't do anything halves, it would have to be Mother Teresa because of her compassion and kindness, and either Teddy or Franklin D. Roosevelt, or both of them, because I love my progressives.
And anchoring is Eric Smits.
Yeah, so I'm Eric. I'm a student at Pratt in Brooklyn for photography. Going back this fall, took a leave of absence in the spring. And my hero, I'd have to say, is probably Peter McKinnon, a pretty big photography YouTuber now, that a couple years ago got me back into the hobby just because he was so energetic and passionate about it, and I don't know, was different than anybody else I'd seen in the field. So
we need to start looking for the cause.
But I also just think when we think about how we educate our youth moving forward is how do we address not just providing students counseling, because this is huge, but also what is causing so much anxiety, depression, and these illnesses in general, and how can we prevent them? What's causing them? Because it's huge in our culture as well. Like it's so like what is causing that, and how could we build a future where like with sustainability, the concept of sustainability, that we're not, we're building a better future for each other and for the people who come after this. So
you might have touched on it earlier too. You were talking about connection to community and how schools are a bubble and very separate. And we had this conversation in a previous interview with somebody who was talking about how the coursework that like if you could get students involved with planning a renewable energy program for their town and getting involved with their town, then they start to have a voice in the community. And if especially a teenager has a voice in the community, they feel more valid, they feel more connected, and that starts to heal that anxiety and that separateness. So I think all of it goes together, right? It's we were talking about connection and collaboration and active participatory learning,
It is.
and maybe all of those are parts and pieces of the same puzzle.
It is. And the evidence is out there, that integrating, environmental context, integrating the community into your coursework increases students' engagement, increases their enthusiasm, increases their grades, so
Yeah.
So I think it's all correct. I think it just really needs to be prioritized and put into practice.
Climate news can be sad and depressing.
Sustainability doesn't have to be a gloomy topic. I think it's a very empowering topic because it shows you can be a change agent. These are the issues in your local and global, and this is how we can solve them. I think it's I think just the approach needs to be changed. And if you make a mistake, maybe you're writing to a senator and that bill doesn't get passed, hey, you learned from it.
A big part of it would be just incorporating solutions or kernels of solutions into the teaching. I know my environmental science teacher did that a lot, and I was very appreciative. And that kind of helps to handle the gloomy nature of it a little bit by showing that there is a way out of it. Even if the solutions aren't practical, they exist, they're possible. And so we just have to improve upon them and make them feasible, practical solutions. So it gives a little kernel of like, it is good.
Yeah, I like that because if you focus on the exploration and the learning from the mistakes and always reaching forward, and solving for not to fix problems but to achieve better circumstances as a whole, then you're always forward looking as opposed to looking back and saying, oh, let's plug that hole in the dike, let's fix that little problem, let's do this, let's do that. Instead, it's saying, I want my community to be healthier. There are 1,000 things that we can do to make our community healthier. It's limitless in its approaches that way, and I think that can be quite positive. And maybe that's a lesson for all of education. Again, instead of teaching a curriculum, and this is really hard, Keita, I don't mean to say that teaching sucks as a whole, but you've been put in a really bad position because you're it's because of regents, because of having to meet certain state requirements, because of having to deal with a school that doesn't support the learning of your students. All of these things come together, but if there can be a little bit of vision beyond the curriculum, maybe that's the tease to keep the students involved. And I'm saying this as a not teacher. So.
Sustainability is really all these things.
Sustainability is not something separate from the world. It's not like a separate topic, just like the environment is not some separate topic of the world. It's everything. Sustainability is everything. It needs to be integrated, weaved into all subjects, all components of life. Otherwise, what are you teaching?
And I'm a big, what are the multi-solving? Like if we do something environmentally smart, it ends up doing 6 or 8 other things, and we should start to talk about all of those things all the time. Like I'm in my backyard and we hang our laundry out to dry, right? So our laundry's there, right? Which is environmentally smart. We're not using our dryer. It makes the clothes last longer. They smell better. The stains come out better when they're in the sun. And so you just always talk about that other stuff. It's easier to fold. And I figure if we start to talk like that, it's not just an environmental strategy, it's an all these things strategy, then maybe it'll start to normalize it, almost like mental health can be normalized just by talking about all the aspects of it.
And that's a wrap. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was an awesome conversation, and I really appreciate it. I think that you guys expanded my mind during it, which is, the one goal that I hope to take away from all of these conversations. So I love that you've given me a new frame of reference to go with.
So glad you joined us for Subject to Change. Take care.
Thank you guys so much.
We
will talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much. All right, have a great night.